Hello and welcome to another edition of Belfry's Between the Goalposts. I'm your old coach, Steve Meeking. Today we have a very special guest, one of the true legends that wore the red and white here at Belfry High School on the football field, Derek Wellman. Derek, welcome to the show today.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Well, we're honored to have you here today, and we want to play a little catch-up with you today. And truly one of the greats here. He played fullback here for Belfry between 2014 2017 and was on 3 state championship teams. In 2016, against Louisville Central in that state championship game, I'm going to let you describe it.
Oh my gosh, it was a awesome game for us. Louisville Central has always been a big rival for the Belfry Pirates, and this was one that we were coming off of, and after beating them in 2000, I believe was it 14, where we beat them my freshman year, we beat them, and we was coming, and it was, gosh, they were coming for us because we obviously beat them in the past. And we came out of nowhere, and we had the best time of our lives, and we ended up winning that game. It was an amazing game for all of us, and it was very,
Yeah, and we did it in the old Belfry fashion too. If you remember that game, we did a lot of this. Quarterback would take the ball and give it to the fullback, right? And we was just satisfied for you to get 3, to get 4, maybe to get 5. That day the offensive line was clicking. What kind of feeling was that when you're in that huddle and these offensive line and you're on the same page and you're looking at Louisville Central? They can't do much to stop you.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the greatest feelings in the world when it's like an orchestra. When every part of the orchestra is working together, it's an amazing feeling. And when you're standing in that huddle, I try to do this. I tried to do this as much as I could, just take in what was really happening.
Yes.
And we were all together, and we were all excited, and we were just ready to win. And that's what I was trying to tell these young guys, that you need to try to make an effort to get everyone bought into the big picture here, because in that moment in time when we were standing in that huddle and we were about to win the state championship, for the four-peat, we were all bought in for that moment.
Yeah, there's no saying that as a coaching staff here, we always said an individual, a young player, he gets it. Now you can't define what it is, but you did a real good job of almost it's something, and it's something special too. You just described when you're in that huddle and you're imposing your will on them, and all they can do is just sit and take. That's a good feeling, especially against Louisville Central.
Oh yes,
we like that. And so MVP in that game.
Yes, sir.
All right. So then you had a decision to make. College football was in your horizon. Why'd you choose Georgetown?
So Georgetown, I had several, D1 schools looking at me, and, Georgetown came around the corner, and I was looking for a school. A lot of people was like, dude, you got to go D1, you have to. But, I was looking for a school that best fit me. And, that is something that I found in Georgetown, and, it resembled Belfry in many ways, the way they conducted themselves. They had a history of winning. They were, the coaches held you to a very high standard. One of the major things, we had a clean shave, had tucked, we didn't even allowed to have facial hair, no earrings. We really held ourselves to a high standard on all aspects of the field. And as I went there, I was drawn to that family-like atmosphere, just like Belfry, and it was so intriguing, and I fell in love with it instantly.
Yeah, that's something special we have here at Belfry, and we was talking about that before we started the show. It's just you can't explain it. It's just you don't play for yourself here, do you?
No. It's not just for your team either.
No.
It's for Pond Creek. It's for the fans, your family, the ones who've played on before you. That's what you play for.
Absolutely. So now, what was the biggest transition once you left Belfry? Highly successful, championships and all. Now you go to Georgetown. What was the biggest transition? The hardest thing to take it to the next level?
One of the major things was obviously that everybody knows is speed and the physicality, and that is something that I really stood out. So Georgetown is a smaller NAIA school, but I was able to, bring a different level of physicality to the game and the transitioning, also the schemes. That was a huge deal. And, probably, Belfry is kind of simple about their schemes and how they, their defense, how they run it. And, I had to be able to adapt my style of play to be able to meet the demands of the coaches. And, learning the different, the style of offenses, being able to, read what the quarterback could be doing, but the wide receivers are set in this position. What am I going to do?
Right.
And, that was the biggest transition, to being able to determine how schemes worked in general. And, a lot of schools do that in high school and makes it very successful. But that transition to being able to learn the new schemes of other, our own scheme, but also the types of plays for the offenses.
Yeah, and it's just, when it comes down to it, you've got all these schemes, you've got all these checks and everything, but still a player, and you was great at this, it still boils down to a willingness to tackle and to be hit, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got to be willing to put it out there, or it's going to get you.
Yeah, and you mentioned NAI school, and and I'm a football junkie, so I watch it, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Sunday, a lot of people just don't realize these NFL rosters, they're full of NAI players,
Yeah.
D2 players. It's not just D1.
Yeah.
There's some great players out there. The level of competition that you all play in your league, it's amazing. What it is, and the people you play against. And we say, wait a minute, there he is on Sunday. So you're playing there, and you still got a future after that, though, right?
Yes,
you
sir.
can't play football for so long. so now, okay, football's behind me. Okay, now what's Derek getting ready to do?
So I'm actually planning to go to PT school. For those who don't know, it's physical therapy. And I'm very passionate about physical therapy, providing the hope for those who have lost it through progression to get them better. And I'm so intrigued by the field, and that is the next step for me. So I just graduated from Georgetown, and that's my next step. I'm applying in June, and with the hopes of getting in May, and that's the next step for me.
That's great. Now, there's also another step now. Okay, I know you're applying for college. Now, trust me, this is the bigger step. Now, what's this next big step?
This next step, I'm getting married in July.
Yeah, all right. Oh, so, man, life comes at you hard and fast, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's back up, okay? We'll make all those decisions later. Let's talk about Belfry High School a little bit. When you first walked in here as a freshman, big expectations, no matter who it is, because we like winning around here. You can look behind these trophies, we love them. We keep adding space for more. And all of a sudden, whether you knew it or not, Derek Wellman, you were supposed to help put some hardware up there. What was it like when you walked out there as a freshman?
Big thing for me is everyone, knew me in middle school for being that hard hitter kid. And, I was so fascinated with the idea of Belfry from a young age, and sometimes you reminisce on when you're younger, and we were over there playing on the sidelines when the older guys were playing on the field, and we would play like it was a state championship.
Oh yes.
And so when I was coming into when I was coming into Belfry as a freshman, I was scared. Not because I was scared of the competition, I was scared of the tradition. Because this tradition, I had to own it. I had to live up to so much with this tradition. I had to be more than what, I wanted to make the tradition proud. Those fans, they, as you grow, you want to be more for the fans and give them all that they want. You want to give them that hardware, and you want to make sure that, you're doing everything the best, but also being the best player that you could be. And that was the biggest hard transitioning for me. I was scared to, I was worried, am I going to be the best that I could be?
Yes.
Am I going to help this team out as much as I can? And, throughout the years, when you begin to work out and you get stronger, that confidence becomes more and more.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming, and a lot of kids, they get to this point and it's not for them because there's a lot of work. You talk about those kids on the sideline, and no matter when you come here to a football game, there will always be those kids on the sideline. And the thing about it is, when they're on the sideline, when you was playing, you may not have known this, but I guarantee you there was one or two kids saying, I'm going to be Derek Wellman. Because, you always was with somebody, one of the stars, you always want to be, I'm Derek Wellman this time, and carrying the ball. And so there's a little bit of a role model goes in that also when you put this helmet on. The expectations go high, and you want to pass that down. And I think you did what everybody that comes to this program wants to do, and that is when you leave the program, it's a little bit better than before you got here.
Yeah. And that was a big thing, Belfry at that time, they, when I was coming in, they just came off another state championship versus Wayne, and I really wanted to, I wanted to be one of those guys that really helped this program to take them to the top. And me and my dad, we always talked about it. Just, Derek, you can, this is your school now. You can help this school do the best they can, and I wanted to do that, and that was the biggest thing. That was hard. I wanted to live up to that so much. That was very hard for me.
You did a great job of doing. I was fortunate to be here when we won the first one in 2003, and I just remember how hard that was to win that first one. And people now, I don't know if they're spoiled. They think they come easy. Was it easy?
Oh, it's not. And that's something that a lot of people, I have a lot of friends from other schools that are like, you live in Kentucky, of course it's going to be easy. I don't care what school or state you're in, winning a state championship is not hard.
That's right. It's
not easy.
Yeah, there's too many things you can't really control that can happen that's out of your control. So if a young kid at Belfry Middle School, he's sitting there and he's thinking, I don't, what do I need to do before I get there? How can I prepare myself once I get to Belfry to be successful? What would be your advice to that kid?
It was a little different for me, and what I did, I've always had something. I've always wanted to be better, a better me. From the time I've been young to the time now, I'm still improving myself to be better. And if there's a kid out there that wants to be, you have to put the time in. And I mean, not just during practice time. I'm talking like after practice, before practice, because it is so hard to be successful, and not many people are. And let me tell you something, it's very easy to fail, but very hard to win.
Absolutely.
And so I'm telling you, you got to think about it this way. When you're a freshman and you're coming in as a freshman, there's seniors that have already done it 4 years. So they already have 4 years of strength, speed, knowledge on you. So it's better to start at a younger age so that you can come in further than your class that you're coming in with are.
Yeah, and that's where it goes back to Coach Haywood's philosophy too, is simple philosophy. Just get a little bit better each day.
Yeah.
That's it. You may be getting better quicker than I am, but I'm still getting better.
Yeah.
And it may not be my freshman year, maybe not be my sophomore year, but if I keep that attitude, will I make the field one day?
Yes.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is. That's all it's about.
Yeah. So now, and I know this too, talking to you, knowing you, your faith plays a big part in your success too, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. That is something that I hold very high in my life. All the opportunities and all the, the awards and all the success that I've had, and I give it to my Creator.
God's
Jesus
good,
Christ. He is.
God's good.
And some people take that for granted, and I keep a good relationship with my Lord and Savior, and that I make sure that is the highlight of my life, and I give all the credit to Him, because my knowledge, my strength, my all of my abilities comes from Him. It has to come somewhere, and He's blessed me with the the genetics and the ability to be a better me.
Right. You describe yourself as a well-rounded person. You got the faith. You talk about how you love the teammates in the huddle. You put everything first ahead of yourself, and that's success in life. I think that's the key, is you got to put others first. And I think you've done a good job of that. And I think now you're at a position now in your life. You're ready to go, right?
Yes, sir. And that's one of the major things. I've for so long I was very selfish human being, and some of the happiest moments I've ever been in my life was with others. And I was telling my dad this. My worst award that I've ever won, my senior year, when it was during the Pike County Bowl, and I won the MVP for that year. And big accomplishment for me once again, but we lost that game. And I'm going to be honest, I hate that award. I don't even know. I'd say it's somewhere on my dresser at home, but I hate it. Because at the time, it is a great award for yourself, but we wanted to accomplish the win of the Pike County Bowl. The Pike County Bowl is our bowl. It's here at home, and we wanted to bring that to Pond Creek. And that is something that we failed to do, and I felt accountable. And I'm telling you, that is something that I grew to be, is for my team. And when you're for your team, I'm telling you, it's very lonely at the top whenever you're by yourself.
Absolutely.
But when you have others with you, it's amazing.
Yeah, and the success here at Belfry is truly, it's because we're a family.
Yeah.
We're a team.
Yeah.
We laugh together. We cry together. We hug each other. I love you. I know you love me, because we share one thing in common. And that's why we're so successful on the football field. And like you've been around, and people in this Commonwealth, they know that we play football here, don't they?
Yes, sir.
They know they don't want to schedule us because they know we still play that old physical brand of football. You know, we're not going to throw it around. Now, those kids on the bleachers may throw the football, but once you get out here, we don't. So, Derek, so we just thank you so much for being here, part of this today.
Thanks for having me.
And I want you to know, too, that you're truly one of these legends of Belfry football. You know, the success that you had and the way you led the teams that you were on. You may not realize this, but you made a lot of people better because of your work ethic and the way you put others first. So we appreciate you being here.
Thanks
and
for having me.
you're a heck of an ambassador for Belfry football. Appreciate it.
Thank you.